say something profane.
Yeah, but Ewan has to run and close his cupboard.
I gotta keep the weird things that live in there. I've got like a goblin in there. I'm like Chris Griffin. I've got like an evil monkey that comes out and points at me.
Right, that went a lot. That was a good save, to be fair. I thought that was going to go a lot stranger.
It was a Family Guy reference, and you know.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to just leave it at the weird things he's got in his closet, and I just thought he was going to leave it at that. So I'm quite happy he kind of expanded upon it, you know?
I've decided now if I leave that open, I'm just going to buy a cardboard cutout and put it in there. So if I leave it open, there will be a cardboard cutout, and I will rotate the cardboard cutout. So like I will change them every week. It's
no,
like...
every week they get closer to the camera until they're like over you.
Just occasionally they just stand behind him. He doesn't even realise it at that point. He didn't move it that week. It's just moved itself. It's gone sentient.
They're like weeping angels.
My sister and my mum were watching Insidious today, and there's a bit in Insidious where like doors open and close, and I randomly closed the door, and they didn't know I was there, and I freaked the shit out of them.
Was it intentional, or were you being accidentally cruel?
It was accidental, because I did not know that was a thing that happened in Insidious until they told me. And then I did it again intentionally.
As you do. That's what you do, though.
Exploit their weaknesses.
As I do with you. Although we're not there yet.
We are not there yet.
As for now, I welcome you all back to Twisted Fates. As you can see, should I say, we are one man down. I think I cut that bit from the last episode when I was explaining that. As Craig's not here, at least for the first half. No, he didn't. Well, we're not too sure actually. We'll get to that. As for the first half of this episode, for the first half of this session, I am left with my three boys. So we've got Matthew, Ewan, and Paul. And they'll kind of be playing around in Kinreen, doing a little bit of bits and bobs before we cut to the break, and then after the break, Paul will be rejoining us. He's sticking around. Craig will be joining me, and Ewan and Matthew will be fucking off.
I get fool's game, boys.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Because you're also complicating itself for yourself, but we'll get to that too. As last session was quite an emotional session, I guess, for Ranaagash. He got to see his mum, though maybe not in the state he was wanting. She was a little bit battered and bruised, a few broken ribs and a twisted arm that had been partially repaired by the local stable master. Wulfric did what he could to help her get on her way, but it will take a little bit of time for her to heal. He was able to find the culprit of said injuries pretty quickly. It also resulted in a broken window as Eidolon went to go and chase down Gairdra, and I guess find out that perhaps the elf had been in Kinreen a little bit longer than they would have liked, doing a little bit more than they would have liked. But Ran got a heart-to-heart with his mum, which was really sweet. And he also got a cool item to change around his portents. And we had probably the best back and forth of the series so far between Wulfric and Eidolon trying to calm Ranaagash's mother. After telling her that someone had died in the party. And then them trying to really awkwardly and ineffectively convince her that she should let their son continue to travel with them after someone had died not once but twice, and then informing her that her son had actually died the least in the party. So it was quite a mess.
Yeah.
I'm full of situations.
You are full of situations. As I quoted you. But yeah, it was quite a comical end to, I guess, quite a somber session. Rodrik also, I guess, left the party temporarily. He had a job to go and do, though we'll get to find out what that entailed, where he is at some point, if you guys go around town and ask about him, or go and try and find him. But for now, we are starting with Ranaagash and Wulfric. As you spent the night, obviously Eidolon was there too, in Frida's house. You were given, well, you and Eidolon, Wulfric, were given spare rooms. Ranaagash, you had your own room, and Rodrik kind of fucked off that afternoon, so he didn't get a room. Probably boo-hoo to him. I imagine he would have liked to stay with Frida for the night.
Oh, he would.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give
But
you
he would take
$5
a
to stop
sleeping
trying to
bag.
fuck his
He would
mom.
take a sleeping bag on the floor because he's a gentleman.
Here's your room, Paul.
Whatever room is available.
Who has the biggest floor?
Outside's a room.
He gets the garden.
Everything's a room if you think big enough.
You get to put in the doghouse, boy. Literally. Get the fuck out of there.
Can you be put in the doghouse though if you were never really part of the relationship in the first place? Awkward silence from Paul. As for the two of you, you will have gotten up, kind of gotten yourselves ready for that morning, and headed down to. Despite her injuries, Frida is quite adamant to at least be doing some things around the house. The stable master, Marcus, is still. He didn't stay the night, but he came early that morning, leaving his son in charge of the stables to at least help Frida around the house. She is very much adamant that she is still going to be doing stuff around the house, however, and is kind of fussing over the fact that he's still there. But the two of you come down for breakfast. She serves you breakfast to the best of her abilities, still trying to, I guess, keep her independence despite her injuries. Where
Yeah, right.
Wulfric finally gets breakfast on time for once. It's not brunch, it's actually breakfast today. Where obviously there is a place set for Eidolon. You're used to him getting up early. Wulfric, your rooms were pretty close to each other, but the two of you are fed and watered and Eidolon does not appear.
Do you know where he's gone?
Did you give anyone the key last night?
No. This is concerning.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
as you're having your concerning conversation, there is also a chap at the door, where Frida, it is her house after all, kind of leaves you to your more concerning conversations and goes to answer it. Or she kind of disappears for a little while in the halls. You can hear her, I guess, talking to someone. Where she kind of, I guess, leaves the door, leaves them lingering for a little while, and comes back to the two of you. Kind of more addressing Ran than Wulfric, though Wulfric is still included in the conversation. There is someone here to see you.
Before we answer the door, can we get a description?
Quite short. I couldn't really see his face. He kept a hood up. He just asked for the well, she kind of looks around. He asked for the three of you, but Eidolon must still be upstairs.
Heavy sleeper.
Do you want me to bring him in?
Yes, that would be good.
As she kind of turns to Ran. Ran, get another plate of breakfast up.
I shall do so.
He is a good boy. As Frida heads back out into the hall, heads to the front door, you can kind of hear her talking as she's coming down, kind of just, I guess, leading the character through. Ranaagash, for yourself, this is, I guess, a sense of deja vu to some degree, at least in terms of the garb and clothing, as it's something that you have seen recently, though I guess not in a conscious state, as very much dressed in a heavy brown cloak, hoods kind of like properly all over. The figure itself is quite gaunt, quite tall, not much shorter than yourself, and beneath the cloak you can see what looks like burial robes.
What in the goddamn?
As Paul, what do you look like now?
He has risen! He is the Messiah!
What you guys will see is, like Em described, a very gaunt looking Marcusar.
What in the goddamn? What the fuck?
What race is he this time?
He's still an elf.
I'm still high up.
He's still a high elf.
Just a rare looking higher.
I guess I'd, lower my hood for you guys. And I was like, well, aren't you guys a sight for sore eyes? Like with a very weak sort of tone of voice.
Wulfric looks at Marcusar, then looks to Ran. I pinch you, you pinch me. 3, 2, 1, and they pinch each other.
Wulfric's pinch hurts. Like, he's a strong guy. This is a proper pinch. Wulfric, you're not too sure Ran is pinching you to begin with, and then kind of you almost feel like the little prick, and you're like, yeah, no, I am awake.
Where's Eidolon?
Your guess is right. This is good. Is she still here? Is his mum still here?
She is, yeah, she's kind of pottering around the kitchen. She kind of gestures to the plate of food that Ranaagash has kind of left by a stool. Kind of gestures for, well, Marcusar, the elf that's kind of come into her kitchen. You're welcome to have a bite.
What is on the breakfast? What is on my breakfast plate that Ranaagash has prepared for me?
It will essentially be eggs and bread with some meat, mostly chicken.
I turn to Fruda and just like, I'll politely decline.
You can eat the bread.
But it's, it's on the same plate, and I'm like...
Oh, don't be like that. Don't be that guy!
Okay, I tear off a piece of bread that hasn't touched the egg or the meat. And just like slump down and just have like a real just nibble at it,
How are you alive?
After you took me to the halls of the faith, the priestess there brought me back, but not as full of life as I was before.
Are you like a zombie now?
No, look at me, I'm quite weak. No man is meant to come back twice.
I think it's impressive that you have.
Yes. I'm quite amazed myself. Lucky I found yous.
Yeah, we've been in town sorting a wee issue.
Just can't stay out of trouble, can you?
Eidolon jumped to our window.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, he had to fix it, so we stayed here.
Well, what have I missed? Other than the window.
Well, I can do magic now. That's a new development.
Really?
Yes.
But I thought you were always confused by magic.
I'm still confused by it. I can just do it now.
But what brought that about?
Crisis of faith. I'm not as gung-ho about killing.
Understandable. I too have questioned my faith, and I know it's not easy.
Those bandits we encountered, do you remember those bandits from ages ago? Tieflin and the half-elf, me. The guy knocked me unconscious and then I killed him.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
I brought you back.
Yes, his second in command came looking to kill me, followed by the rest of them.
Did he kill you?
She was killed by one of her own allies.
Oh.
Because they did not agree because I did not try to harm her.
I mean, how very honourable of you.
Part of the new oath promise to be better. For a new axe. It's technically my old axe, but it's also my new axe.
Does it still light things on fire?
No, it just lights things now.
I mean, fire does that too.
No, like divine.
Like light.
Like divine, like that. You know that big beam you could summon from the sky.
Yes.
Kind of like that,
Okay.
but like the sun.
Sounds pretty dope. Ranaagash, what's new with you?
I think I have the heirloom on me, right?
You would, yes.
Or just like hold that up.
Sheesh. Nice. Well,
About it.
I wish to be, when I was brought back, I didn't really think what else I could do. I figured you guys would still need me. I mean, who else was going to bring back Wulfric when he got downed?
That's not been happening as much, surprisingly.
Well, even if you don't need me as much, I still wish to tag along if that's okay with you.
It's good to see that you're alive again. Divine sense.
Wulfric is suspicious!
No, it's He's not suspicious of Marcusar. He's just suspicious that this woman might have done something to Marcusar that Marcusar doesn't know about. That Marcusar's been fucking like that Marcusar's been like back alley revived and is now technically a zombie.
No, Marcusar is alive. He is not undead. Neither is he a fiend nor celestial, so he's not been transfigured in that way. With your divine sense, however, you can tell that the threads of life that are holding him to the material plane, they are like fraying. They are so thin. Like,
I'm this fucking close.
like, he came back the first time, his soul was already trying to depart. He's come back again, and there is so many fragments that have just been left behind in the world of the dead that what is now here is very much a shell of perhaps what he once was.
Still nibbling on my little piece of bread. Maybe I've finished this, and then I'm tearing off a little bit more because I am very hungry.
Well, you'll have travelled essentially 5 days with whatever you had in your pack, which is not a lot.
Whatever I could forage.
That is true, but even then, in your weakened state, probably not the best travel you've ever had.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Right.
So, what's the agenda for today? Do we have another monster to vanquish?
I think we're just gonna do stuff around Convene. Wait for Eidolon to get back.
So, anything new with Eidolon?
That elf guy keeps showing up.
Which one?
Have we heard him say his name?
Ran has. I'm pretty sure Wulfric has as well. At least I'm pretty sure Wulfric's heard his name.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure you heard it in Westcross.
Yeah.
I think the only one who didn't actually know his name was Marcusar, so it kind of fits.
Gerdra, the weird elf guy, he summoned the werewolf in the basement.
Oh, fucking flashbacks.
Yeah, he's been a persistent problem.
Well then, is there any way we could be helping Eidolon?
Well, we could, if we knew where he was.
Did he stay here?
Yes.
Well, maybe we could track him.
He's very fast. I'll give him that. I will give him that he is very fast.
Still, he might have left some sort of indication of where he went. Or there might be a trail.
I might find him if he's within a reasonable distance. As I check the distance on locate creature.
Whipping out the old locator, homie. Oh yeah, I assume Ranaagash would have just kind of subconsciously noticed it, but Marcusar would more visibly notice it. That Wulfric now has more of the salt and pepper.
Oh, he's getting grey. It's almost like Hazel was right.
You're an old man, not Eidolon. Wulfric.
As everyone keeps reminding me.
Though we're close to home, for you at least.
Yes, we are. Oh yeah, I learned that in my entire... You knew that. Ryan, you knew that.
What did I already know?
That I was gonna say, he was gonna say that the whole family thought I was dead.
Yes, I think I was privy to that.
Yeah, you were there when he spoke to
Wolfgang.
Mueller. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, Marcusar was right there. I was the first to hear about it after you, obviously. Yeah, they'll be very excited to see you.
Yes.
It's-
Which reminds me, when we return, or when we go up to where I'm from, how do you lads feel about attending a wedding? Because we may have to attend a wedding.
I mean, I know you don't practice the old faith, so I'd feel awkward officiating, but I appreciate the gesture.
As a guest, dipshit.
Oh,
My wee brother's getting married.
congratulations.
I don't think I ever met the girl. Did I meet the girl? Did he? Did Wolfgang say who they were getting married to? Fucking brilliant! It is real. It really is just like a family friend to tell you an event, but never give you any fucking specifics.
It's when you're getting brought by your family to like a party, and it's like, who are all these people? And it's like, what do you mean? They're like people who knew you from your childhood. It's like, well, I don't know them.
Yeah, I was like, you don't remember Gary who held you once when you were 7 months old? It's like, I don't fucking remember then.
How am I supposed to remember that?
Well, shall we hunt for Eidolon, or do we have other things to do?
I think he'll find his way back to us, so...
Well, I guess we'll just wait here then.
Should at least check upstairs.
Yes.
Yes.
Did he not manacle himself like he usually does?
Nope.
Curious.
Well, at least he didn't give anyone the key if he did.
He swallowed it.
It's a bit inconvenient.
Yeah.
There for like 3 days, or whatever.
Ranaagash, could you lead us to Eidolon's room?
Sure.
Your locate creature is 1,000 feet as well, Matthew.
I will bear that. I did check. I don't think it's necessary quite yet.
Don't think it's necessary quite yet. What would you deem necessary?
When he's not there. It's Schrodinger's Eidolon at the moment. We haven't checked.
Schrodinger's Eidolon. As Ran kind of leads you upstairs, Wulfric, these are obviously corridors you're becoming a little bit more familiar with too. Markstar, you're kind of just, I guess, following along a little bit more blindly. As the door itself isn't locked, you can push down the handle and you can feel it move. However, you can only get it maybe half an inch before it stops. Like, you kind of push it open and then it just shudders, as if something's stopping it from opening any further.
Well, go on, open it.
Try keep on pushing.
You can give me strength check.
Let's go. I can do that.
Let's go.
/ or 1
It's
to
a rapper, and he points at his hat and he says, "Let's go."
The door doesn't budge.
Fine.
Do you need a hand? Feeble old little Marksar can help.
Can you turn into something really small?
I think I can. Have I used Wild Shape before?
Mm-mm. Because remember, you forgot about it, and then I made it really cool, and then you died.
Yeah, because some fighter asshole killed me.
Not your set of dice. I don't think you're allowed to drag him anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got a set of dice out of your character death. I don't get jack shit out of my character deaths.
Fair. How about I just help you push?
Yep.
Try again, and maybe he does it with advantage.
Yes.
/ 1d2 or yeah.
Maybe 20 KH1.
+4. That should be a 14. Because I'm still not good at these commands.
Yeah. It's just the funny thing of it's like, those are some rubbish rolls, mate.
Yeah.
As with that, you are able to push it. You are able to kind of almost shunt it with Marcusar kind of giving you a hand. You don't toss yourself into the room. You don't fall into the room. You have a little bit more control than that. Though you can feel, I guess, the dresser scrape across the ground as you do so. As you get into the room, and a state of chaos is one way to describe it, but it's more in a state of distress, as it doesn't look like there was much of a fight, but it certainly looks like there was still a fight to be had. As specifically, the kind of bed frame, the kind of wooden poles for the bed frame, 3 of them have been ripped off. Most likely he manacled himself to one of them, and then whenever they got pulled, the other 2 came with it. The dresser itself has been what looks like cut in half, though half of it is still bubbling from acid. And, well, the kind of window itself is not broken, but the window frame and the kind of shutters on it are more hanging from their hinges. Eidolon's stuff is still here as well. All of his, well, everything that was on his person, so like his clothes, he sleeps in his armor, so his armor's gone, his boots are gone, but like his sword, his bag, his stuff is still in the room. Slightly more scattered as his sword is kind of like, I guess, would have been laying up against the dresser, and it's now kind of been like almost slided across the floor and gone kind of under the bed. His bag is, I guess, all of the contents of it is fallen out as it was sitting on top of the dresser, and then as the dresser's been cut, sliced, and pushed, and the stuff's kind of just strewn across the floor. He doesn't have much, though the black tar leaves that he does occasionally use to sleep are smashed and scattered across the floor, leaving quite a pungent smell in the room that starts giving the three of you a little bit of a headache.
Seems as if there was a struggle.
We should go look for him, and then we'll come back and we'll clean. Because this is look at the fucking state of this.
This woman gives us her hospitality, and this is how he treats the room.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, disembodied voice.
You say his leaves that he uses for his tea are smashed and strewn everywhere.
Yeah, so they were kept in a kind of glass container, a container that he used to carry around with him in his bag. That's obviously kind of rolled out of his satchel and onto the floor and just smashed. So all the leaves are kind of just across the floor.
Is there any indication that someone might have maybe stepped through them, or smeared them, or something like that?
Give me an investigation. What did you actually do with Marcusar's 8th level ASI, by the way, Paul?
I put another one into Con and into Charisma, just to make them even.
Nice. As with that, you can't really see much in the room, which is kind of strange. At least in terms of footprints, or at least on whoever the other person was. As Eidolon's footprints are pretty heavy, they are marking the ground, more scuffing it to some degree. The way that they are moving, I guess, is a bit more sporadic, a bit more chaotic. They're not as calculated. They also look quite clumsy, almost as if he was wavering, rather than, well, you've seen Eidolon fight before. He fights with a lot of precision, a lot of finesse, a lot of dex in his movements. This is more lumbering. As you're kind of tracing them around, however, you do notice something under the bed. Not too far from, I guess, where if Eidolon was sleeping on his side and rolled over, it might have fallen down just the side of the mattress and is kind of sitting there. The only reason you notice it is it's kind of more of a dark wood floor, and it's yellow and green, or at least what you can see of it is yellow and green.
I have a wee look at what it is without touching it.
Without touching it. More crouching down to, I guess, have a look, inspecting, I guess, under the bed to where you found it. It's about that in length, made from almost a hollow metal that has a point on one end, similar to, I guess, an old-fashioned surgical needle. What caught your attention was kind of, I guess, 3-tipped feathers of yellow and green sticking out the back of it.
This motherfucker got sleep darted. I direct it to the attention of Wulfric and Ranaagash.
Something under the bed.
Yes, seems to be a sort of dart of some kind. Could I assume that it's poison of some kind and attempt to identify it?
You can give me a nature or a medicine, whatever you're more proficient at.
Okay, I will go for a... What am I better at? Oh, they're the same.
They are the same. Gas.
Let's go for medicine. 14.
The kind of strange thing is you are able to detect some notes, but you're not able to detect the, I guess, specifics. You could describe it as a sleeping draft, but it's a lot stronger than that. A standard sleeping draft is, for example, like when Ranaagash has his opium tea. It settles the nerves, relaxes the mind.
Gets high as balls.
You know, it kind of puts you into a more deeper sleep. This, whilst having some traces of perhaps toxins that could do that, you kind of start inspecting it, and as you do so, you're quite quick to, I guess, more throw it onto the bed, as the residue that is left is also a nerve toxin. So not only would it put you to sleep, or at least induce a deeper sleep, it would also essentially let your muscles relax, your nerves relax to the point that you couldn't feel anything, and you'd be essentially malleable. Your limitations would obviously be the rigidity of your bones.
Lads, I don't think Eidolon is safe.
No.
Eidolon been taken?
Or whoever's taken him, they've incapacitated him. This is a very powerful toxin. He would have been somewhat easier to subdue.
Right, I think the best thing to do is look out of the window, or go outside and to where this window looks out onto.
You just see where they might have taken him.
Yes.
We go to the window.
So, are you going outside and looking at the window from the outside perspective, or are you kind of staying in and looking out? Or are you kind of doing a bit of both?
I'll go outside.
I'll stay in the room.
Ran?
I'll go downstairs and tell my mother that this room is a shithole.
Are you using those words
Oh.
exactly?
No, of course not.
We'll
Mum,
do.
this room is a poo hole.
We'll do my rolling boys first. So if Wulfric, a investigation, Marcusar, investigation or perception, because you're slightly higher up, so you could look a little bit further afield.
I'll go for the perception. Ah, come on.
The full stop is back. Ah, that's better. Marcusar, you can't really see anything. You're 2 stories up, and whoever did this, at least to some degree, was a professional, or at least they knew what they were doing, not necessarily whether they are professional or not. The chaos in the room perhaps suggests otherwise, but they knew what they were doing and they knew what they were coming for, but you can't really see any trace of them from that perspective. On the ground, however, Ewan, you have, Wulfric has a little bit more luck. I guess the thing that confuses you is the source. Is you have seen both, I guess, these infected creatures, these blighted creatures, and you've seen Eidolon's blight, so you've seen the tendrils that Eidolon produces. Eidolon never really leaves residue, at least from his tendrils. The creatures occasionally do leave residue, not all the time, but most of the time if they die or are injured, they do tend to leave quite a residue. Gathered at the base of the house and occasionally at the wall, almost like someone's been injured or cut, the kind of splattering of blood, but a little bit more acidic. You can see the residue of this blight, this kind of infection, this caustic infection that seems to fizz like acid and kill anything it touches. You can see it kind of, I guess, trail down the wall and almost pull at the bottom before kind of gathering up, splattering slightly. Obviously someone trying to sort something, whether that was on Eidolon or from injury, and go into Frida's garden. But when it starts getting into the soil of her garden, other than obviously the decaying plants, you can't really see much of it after that. The trace starts to disappear, though it does head towards Maiar.
Right, it's heading towards Maya. Do we want to head in the general direction that it is? We'll be coming back because Eidolon's stuff's still here.
What are you guys shouting about down there? I'm still in his room.
Go downstairs, you know, Marcusar.
Come down, Marcusar.
I'll be a second.
Alright.
As I guess Frida
Really?
kind of comes to Ranaagash and Wulfric. Is everything alright?
You say.
You say what, Ranaagash?
Bad news and good news.
Alright.
Bad news is that Eidolon's missing and we don't know where he is. The good news is the window is in one piece this time. Although there is more bad news that the rest of the room isn't necessarily in one piece, but
So it's bad news, good news.
yes.
And
Additional good news, we know what direction they went.
I have good news and bad news. Did you say glad news? No, bad news.
so, what are you going to do?
We're gonna go find him.
And you're just going to walk into Maiar?
I have
I mean,
rejoined the
we've-
party this time.
You have, yeah.
We've made worse decisions.
Do you remember our conversation yesterday when you were trying to fill me with confidence to let you take my son on this journey to go and kill a spooky man and a dragon?
isn't Ran from Mire? Isn't that like fine?
Yes, but a plan would be nice.
The plan is we follow
Where we're going, we don't need plans, and I put on my shades.
My plan, alright, the general plan is we go up to the edge of Mire. Ranaagash can go further in and talk to some of his pals and see if they've seen something carrying the world's grumpiest man.
I had a response for you, but then I wasn't expecting that, so that kind of broke me a little.
Just gotta wait a minute for M to compose it.
I mean, you're
Yes.
you're not wrong.
Ah yes. Comedy.
You're not wrong. He is essentially the world's grumpiest man at this point. I don't think anything can make him happy. Ah, as you
Man's
can...
allergic to smiling.
As she kind of looks, I guess, at you, looks at Ran. Rather than walking the forest, why don't you just go and talk to Imish and Gel?
One moment as I
And
check
they
the
would be...
They're two hunters. They usually drink at the caravan yard. They don't particularly like the encampment, but they know their way in and out of the forest. And I'll be honest, with everything going on in the forest at the moment, I would rather you stayed out of them and at least had a plan for going into them. People have just been going missing. They've been getting attacked. It's not really the...
Everywhere we go, people go missing and get attacked.
Don't say it like that. Saying it like that makes it sound like it's our fault. It's not our fault.
Are we sure it's not our fault?
It's not our fault. It's just... Actually, if we do want to point fingers, it's Eidolon's weird fucking friend's fault.
Are we? I thought for a second you were going to say correlation does not equal causation.
We were gonna say it's Eidolon's fault. Let's just leave him.
Your friends do their best to fill me with confidence, don't they, Ran?
They certainly try.
It's not his friend. It's a sarcastic term.
Yes, but you're the one that's trying to convince me to still let you take my son on this perilous adventure, and you just keep making it get better and better. Really, really you do.
I'm a master of public speaking.
I can tell.
Frida. It is Frida, right?
I'm not very bright.
Ranaagash is one of the fiercest warriors I know.
How many warriors do you know?
I was about to ask the same thing.
I mean...
He has held himself in battle many times. He's as fearsome as any of them.
I'm sorry, but he can't hit a lame deer from 5 feet.
But he has other powers. Other skills.
Is this an awkward time to make a joke about the fact that he killed your sister?
I wasn't present for that. I can't remember if he told me that he'd actually killed my sister.
Yeah, but Wulfric remembers.
That wasn't in character. That was not in character.
No, I'm just thinking. I know we said, "Oh, she died," but I don't think anyone.
No one
said
actually
who landed the.
No one actually told you who killed her. They just told you she was dead.
And no one ever will.
He is a capable combatant, despite appearances.
It's not his appearance.
I know the beard's kind of weird, isn't it? I'm joking.
Marcusar, would it for 5 minutes? Could you not
Be yourself.
Could you not?
For
do that?
5 minutes.
You didn't do that.
It's the Lord of Summerhost all over again with Wulfric just turning around going, Markstar, don't be yourself. Just shut up and stay quiet for 10 minutes.
I had the reason it took me so long is because I really didn't want to use the phrase Marcusar would it kill you? Because probably would.
You could sneeze on me and I could die.
We're getting to that point, aren't we, Paul?
I like that it's like he died as a dragonborn, came back as an elf, and now he's died as an elf and come back as like the fucking like Tiny Tim from fucking Christmas Carol.
Please, sir, it's Christmas Eve.
Papa, I am dying. This feeble little coughs.
My death rattle. If it would make you feel...
Knocking it out of the park this session, let's go.
We're trying to keep it serious here.
I'm serious. Don't
You
know what
good?
you're talking about.
You good? You composed?
Yeah.
You ready for D&D?
Yeah.
If it would make you feel better, we'll go speak to the people in the caravan yard.
It's not if it would make me feel better. I just think it would be more logical than walking into Mire and hope that you perhaps run across an orcish hunt when most of the hunts have been called off.
It's a... She makes a good... And
It's almost like I live here.
all I know about trees...
Why don't you guide us then if you know?
She literally just gestures the fact that her arm and ribs are in splints.
Marcusar, how many brain cells did you lose when she brought you back?
I'm not entirely sure.
It seems like most of them. Let's go talk to those hunters. And not further endanger Ranaagash's mother. And as we're walking away, Wulfric will turn around and go, ma'am,
Yes?
if you see a balding guy with a mustache and a big hammer, if he comes by looking for us, tell him to fuck off.
If you're talking about Rodrik, he can fuck off anyway.
Then add the fuck off from me as well. And
That turns Wulfric and Ranaagash. Who's Rodrik?
some dickhead.
I mean, they're not wrong.
I mean, what did he do to irk you guys?
He did imply he once bludgeoned an innocent person to death. Didn't seem very remorseful about it.
I mean, I'm sure he was kidding.
I don't think he seemed smart enough to be kidding.
Also
He
true.
has an intelligence of 7.
He literally was not smart enough to be kidding.
Oh, I know, he has intelligence of 8, because...
Yeah, up by 1.
Yeah, you've got. Oh, I'm sorry. He has 3. He has 3 intelligence points above a fucking bear. It's not exactly a marvel of intellect, is he?
I mean, I guess Marcusar he implied that he killed an innocent person. He'd be like, okay, maybe I won't touch this subject.
Bit of a
Maybe I won't poke the proverbial bear.
bit of an
Or
awkward
in your
topic,
case,
really.
horse.
Yeah. But why does Frida not like this Rodrik guy?
Because he's really fucking weird. He's rather misogynistic as well, but we're not gonna touch that.
Okay, well, if we come across him, point him out to me so I know to avoid him.
Oh, I think you two meeting would be very funny.
Paul gets to know what it's like talking to himself.
I talk to myself every night. Like, what are you doing with your life?
I like that that's your talking to yourself, and my talking to myself is, I'm excited for
Wait,
new
hold on.
TV shows. What will I have for dinner tonight?
This is me talking to myself. You piece of shit.
You fucking goddamn fucker. Listen, fuckhand.
Listen, you. I found up here with your
Fuck.
shit.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up for me.
Someone take a screenshot of that, and it's when you find the motherfucker who's been ruining your life.
Fuck. Shouldn't laugh and drink. Laughing and drinking is a bad idea.
We devolved it very quickly into prop comedy, so let's keep going.
As the three of you head out, this is your first time in I suppose first time properly in Kinreen Marcusar. You kind of came in and you went to the rest stop, the kind of big, I guess, tavern/inn that is in town. Hence, you're inquiring about the group, and hence you were directed to Frida's. But other than that, you never.
Previously, just asked I basically asked, like, did a group of travelers come in that looked like the most, like, unconventional group of friends you'd ever seen?
They had no clue, and then you mentioned Ranaagash's name, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is."
Did a guy walk in with a giant fucking axe?
You never really explored much of the town. You kind of just came in, got your directions, and kind of headed that morning to obviously go and find Ranaagash, Eidolon, and Wulfric. Obviously, Eidolon was not there, but you got the two of them, so 2 out of 3 is not bad. But Ran and Wulfric kind of take you round the kind of widened, almost curved streets of Kinreen, and just outside of town, quite close to the edge of Mire, you are taken to quite a large caravan and carriage yard where numerous tents and tarps and carriages and carts have been set up with horses drinking and the remains of a bonfire trying to be blown into life, obviously to cook morning's food, by several orcish patrons. The orcs that I guess you are particularly looking for, Ranaagash, they are there. Imish and Gel, they are more drinking than anything else. They don't have their weapons on them, which is pretty unusual, and they already look slightly drunk.
Sorry, I would like to interject.
No.
What are their names?
Imish and Gel.
Gel and Imish. Gelgabish.
Imish and Gel.
Gel Imish. I don't know, it just sounded a lot like Gelgamesh in my head. I was like, you nerd.
We're all nerds here.
We're sitting
D&D.
recording a D&D podcast, Paul.
I have a Shadow of the Colossus poster.
Yeah, but it's also a cool poster.
Shadow of the Colossus is cool in general.
I have a blanket with sheaves with dice and a ferret.
Well, I'm a sports guy because I'm wearing a sports team hat, so I'm actually a lot cooler than you guys.
You're also wearing an Air TV.
TV hoodie. Matthew is the most unnerdy in terms of clothing and background right now.
Matthew's the Chad.
Matthew Wu.
We needed Eidolon's grumpiness to ground us, I think.
Yeah, I feel like my worry is you guys wouldn't really do very much because you don't have Craig's direction. What I'm actually realizing is Craig's kind of the grounding for less tangents.
What do I call it? Leave.
No.
Leave.
Why?
Okay.
Hi.
The comedy has occurred.
Leave. I tell my family I'm playing D&D. And they just walk in.
Is this your brother that's 30, or is this your other brother?
It's my brother who's 30.
Well, of course.
In fairness, he forgot.
Forgot that he's 30, or forgot that
No,
there
he,
was
he forgot I had D&D.
As Matthew, I guess, what does Ran do? Because you're the only one that can identify these two.
I'll like gesture to the other two and point at our people afterward and approach.
Do you say anything on
Okay.
your approach, or do you just stare at
What
them?
time is it?
Morning.
Morning, right? Alright. It'll be like morning.
Saw, dude.
They kind of look at you. Imish, you've known for, I guess, you know him a little bit. Gel more so. You've hunted with him a couple of times. That obviously stopped when you weren't much of a hunter. And it also kind of stopped when Imish specifically started hunting around the area in Kinreen. The two brothers kind of stayed pretty much here. As Imish continues to drink, Gel's more the one that kind of lowers his tankard a little bit. Morning, Ran. What are you doing up early?
You get to ask a favour.
Depends what the favour is.
We've lost someone and we're looking to find him.
What, and you can't
Headed
do that
into
yourself?
Maya. You know what I'm like. Looks like he headed into Maya. Mum says not many the hunter on, so probably our best bet to ask you instead.
Imish kind of slams the tankard down. You can kind of see that he kind of breaks it. The handle kind of cracks, almost warps under his fist. If your mate went into Mire, he's probably dead. We've not been able to get back into the encampment at least in 2 days now. And no hunting, no game.
Going on.
It's important for us to know if you have seen him.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. I've been drunk for the past 2 days because I've not been able to do anything else. As he kind of picks up his tankard again, and you can almost see his clearly younger brother. Gel has a little bit more softer features, almost flush red under green skin. Sorry, Ran. You know what Imish is like. It's been shit. We've not been able to go home, and we've not been able to hunt, which means we've not been able to get coin. And yeah, when Lupa sings the same song for the past 3 nights, madness is setting in.
Makes sense.
I don't know much about someone going into the wood. If they did go into the wood, they've got a death wish at the moment. There's something in there. It's, I guess, attacking the hunting parties that stray too far from the encampment. The only reason we got word not to go back is, well, Bartak was able to send ravens to the town hall. So all the orcs that are in Kinreen are stuck in Kinreen until further notice. Which includes myself and my drunken brother. I don't recall anyone going into the wood, though there's only a handful of people that would go into the wood.
Well, we think he's not necessarily went into the wood, but has been taken into the woods.
Again, same answer. Only a few people go into the woods now. Stupid enough to. Unless there is that creature. So, there is that too.
What does this creature look like?
I don't know, because I've not actually seen it. What some of the others say, as he kind of gestures around the camp, is it's some kind of serpent. Big black snake. It seems not to go too far, but it's close enough that it severs our routes from here to the camp.
It doesn't sound like our suspect. I think a snake's can use
Yeah,
darts.
I don't think snakes emit mucus.
Yes, he'll turn to the other team and be like, what's the plan from here then? Are we stupid enough to go into the woods?
We've done more stupid things.
Yes, we have.
But your mother, what was she think?
It's all up
I mean-
to you, Ran.
Is there no one else that can help lead us into the forest?
2 people would be willing, are probably likely the orcs living here who are currently not allowed to do so, or have been told not to do so.
If you had an idea on where you were going, as Gel kind of interrupts, we can give you directions, Ran. Though.
There were tracks, weren't there? Did we see tracks? Again, that's addressed to you two.
We saw mucus emitted from it. No tracks, I don't think.
And certainly try and divine something.
Wulfric, are you saying that you found mucus leaving the house?
Yes.
I was thinking, no, a snake wouldn't produce mucus, would it?
Not necessarily, no. If it was injured, it would maybe leave blood behind, and depending on the size of it, it could perhaps be more congealed, but it's kind of stretching at that point, because if it's something that large to leave that trail, there would have been more damage to the house.
Yeah.
The only thing that I guess Marcus would, be able to pull on that is it would have to be a someone rather than a something, because it was done with more dexterity or finesse. Again, when he did his investigation, despite things obviously going wrong, it was done with some intention behind it, and the dart suggests that it was definitely more, I guess, not man-made, but men or a person or something more sentient was involved to create a tool like that.
I mean, I guess the only lead we have is what Wulfric saw outside the house. Just follow that and see where that gets us. Even if it's dangerous.
Whatever you feel is best.
I can make sure we're not. I can make sure we're not detected by anything in the forest.
Alright. Sounds good.
It's kind of all we got right now.
Okay,
We need Eidolon back.
we'll head back and we'll follow the follow the track.
Does Ran do anything? Because obviously he does have divination magic at his fingertips.
Honestly, I shall flare a suitable rune and try and locate the creature on Eidolon. If he's within 1,000 feet.
You cannot locate him.
That's not good.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
Can we see where the trail leads?
Into Mire.
Just into my art. Ah, gosh. I guess. Don't think it'll do much, but detect magic.
There's not much that is magical. The residue has magical essence to it, very similar to the magic you detected whilst in the kind of decaying woods in Summerhost, where you found the dragon's egg. The kind of magical signature to that is very similar to the magical signature that seems to be left by this residue. The Forest of Mire itself is not as magical as Summerhost, but it does have some magic to it. Other than that, and other than the objects you gentlemen have on yourselves, your persons, nothing appears magical. There is no trace of magic here.
I'd relay that to the party. How it seems to be of the same ilk as what we encountered in Halden. But that's to be expected. Everything we encounter seems to be caused by the same thing. Must be this elf fella we've been dealing with. Deirdre? Is that what you said his name was?
Yes.
I'm stumped. It definitely wasn't a creature that took him. It was definitely people, but there's no... I mean, is there... I guess I didn't get a good enough look while I was up in the house. Is there any other tracks down here? Like a spot footprints?
Give me investigation.
I mean, there was mucus and shit.
Just the mucus. I mean, I can't remember if you rolled high for it. It's 13, it's probably not gonna...
You can't find anything more than what Wulfric found. You can find this kind of decaying trail of perhaps blood, perhaps mucus, perhaps sinew, you're not too sure. It's kind of that gross, congealed caustic acid that seems to come with this blighted infection, whether that be Eidolon or some of the creatures you've encountered. Just seems to trail to the forest edge where there are small patches of decaying woodland, but when you actually get into the forest and you get to the forest floor where there's a lot more decaying, just naturally decaying matter, it becomes a lot harder to pick up the trail. Even through your detect magic, as the magic of Mire kind of overrides this very, very faint signature from the blight.
Stumped boys. I thought I could find yous and we'd just be on our merry way and go back to adventuring, but no, gotta find bloody Eidolon and I have no idea where he is.
Well,
Could there be anyone... Sorry.
Well, you know there is a beast, a serpent that is lurking in Mire, so perhaps that could be connected. For Wulfric and Ranaagash, you already know that Deirdre has been here with his dragon at some point. You saw his landing to obviously collect Azamir, so he is kicking about at some point. And you also have the knowledge from Gel that other people have been stupid enough to go into the woods. But it's kind of the who are those people.
If Deirdre's been here, and we know he produces weird monsters, and now we know there's a giant snake nearby that's in the same vicinity of where Eidolon was, should we just go after the snake?
I think it would be best.
Do you think we can handle it on our by our 3?
Well, we're gonna have to fucking hope so.
Well then, lead on, Wulfric.
And we lead in the general direction.
Are we doing this stealthily, lads?
Yes.
Yes, we are. We are going to, in fact, pass without trace.
Plus 10, yes.
Yes, that is plus 10 to your dex, boys.
Good.
On top of your stealth modifiers.
Nice.
Nice, Matthew!
You didn't need it.
Nice. Okay, so for some reason it's not doing that, so that would be a 21.
I think you don't need the space between the 20 and the K. Don't know if that's the problem.
Or no, that's a 13, sorry. So it was the disadvantage because I'm heavy on it.
Yeah, you're a heavy boy.
You don't have any mods to your stealth already?
No, I've not got any dex mods.
He's not got a dex mod. He's essentially a full heavy armor, so all of Wulfric's AC comes from all of his add-ons. He's not a very nimble boy.
Can't believe Matthew just gets a nat 20 with a plus 10, like, you know.
30.
I didn't really hurt. I didn't help out anyone.
You helped out Wulfric. He would have gotten a 3 if you didn't.
All I did was counteract his advantage. His disadvantage, sorry. So yeah, we're
as
sneaking through the woods now.
the 3 of you start to sneak into the woods. Even when you get into Mire, the treetops themselves start to, I guess, block out the sun. The forest floor becomes, whilst lighter than perhaps a dark wood or even at night, it's still quite dark down here, and the further you get in, the darker it seems to get, though it obscures your vision perhaps only slightly, to which, Ranaagash, I need a perception check from you.
Okay.
Wulfric, this one will go off your passive. It's because Ranaagash has a 9, so I want to give him at least some at it. Never mind. Never mind. I should have just gone with the 9. As Marcusar, as you are walking through the wood, you, still accustomed to, or getting accustomed to your elven eyes, find dim light not much of an issue anymore. Though, I guess the sudden darkness takes you by surprise as you try to more find your way around to rejoin Wulfric and Ranaagash. You can still at least hear them to some degree, so you try and obviously navigate the darkness to find them. The darkness itself seems to be perhaps a little bit more guiding than you'd like it to be the further this seems to go. And you kind of get that sinking feeling of, why now? As you're not too sure how far you are from Wulfric or Ran, it seems almost even you're in a bubble of sorts. As the wind has stopped, the sounds have stopped, everything seems frozen in time. Even some leaves that have fallen to the ground seem to just hover motionlessly. As the darkness that seems to coil around the trees feeds itself in and out, and every so often when it enters into this small glade, enters into this small area, you can see the light shimmer off of wings and claws, of broken bones and mangled body parts, kind of protruding from a rather large draconic figure. However, dragon's not the issue, as in the corner of the glade, and character you've only seen once, perhaps before, you see the elf that you rescued from the bandit attack, Azimir.
Okay.
But he's not much of interest. Standing in the glade, I guess shaking himself off, looking rather perturbed. You're late, Marcusar.
Yes, I should have guessed.
You should assume at this point that you will be late.
Did you take Eidolon?
Eidolon's missing.
So it's not you.
That is interesting. Though, not an issue. As he kind of, I guess, turns to look at Azimir. It is something I can correct for now, if I can find him. Though I'm assuming you are on your way to find him, yes?
Yes. Also, I see Azimir is like, were you in on this? You motherfucker.
He kind of, I guess, not shrugs, but more kind of looks at the ground and kind of takes a step back. And Gairdra laughs. He wasn't in on it, he didn't have a choice. One of those clauses and catches that you seem so fond of.
Guess we're in the same boat here, aren't we, Azimir?
Not quite. As it occurred to me as I was making my way here that we never did formally or you didn't formally accept my agreement, and I felt perhaps whilst I was in town visiting someone, I might as well wait, stay by and ensure the deal is accepted.
We have a deal. What else do you need?
All these modern gentlemen and their ways to seal the deal. He kind of outstretches a hand. Nothing more.
As Marcusar would very begrudgingly outstretch his hand as well.
He will take it. He will, I guess, more firmly grasp your hand And
Oh,
I
he'd be one of those guys that just squeeze the hand while you shake it. Fucking asshole.
I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, you pass.
Fuck you, Gear.
You take half damage.
Oh, fuck. But I still take the damage.
It's the meme of this campaign. 28, 14 acid damage.
Ooh, spicy.
As he takes your hands to shake it, it is more of a squeeze, but you watch as his hand contorts and turns into his claw. The claw itself pierces your arm, and it ends up twisting your arm around to the point where you can't really do much else than kind of follow it, as he ends up putting you on a knee on the ground, kind of bending your forearm so that he can see it. And almost in an instant, his form erupts from his elvish form, his half-elf form, to his bestial form, where you are standing face to face with the full wolf, not even the half-wolf. This nearly 12-foot tall creature with broken bones, mangled body parts, caustic veins, lacerations, and a form that is the thing of nightmares, that doesn't look even real at times, almost phasing in and out as its skin just seems to pulse green underneath this black fur. However, as it holds you in place, from it, similar to Eidolon though in a much more violent way, tendrils erupt from it. These almost black veins that seem to take life of their own, and slowly up your forearm, along your shoulder, even piercing some of your clothes like needles, tiny pinpricks that even seem to wrap around your neck and latch on, start to stab into your body.
Do you want to kill me before you get the use out of me?
We need to make sure that you are compliant.
Literally, like, fully subdued, but go off, king.
As the beast lets go of you, and you notice that on the back of your hand, circled on your palm, up your arms, even starting to crawl onto your neck, there are black marks that seem to almost slither like snakes that have turned the veins underneath them bright green. It almost seems to burn, like acid is now flowing through your veins.
Oh, we're supposed to hide this.
You can work it out, Canaris. It's not my issue.
What other business do you have in Kinraid?
I had none. As the beast kind of takes a few paces, and give me a perception check as he switches back to his half-elven form, or Gairdre's form. Suspicion.
Press roll. There we go.
12. You don't notice anything. As Gairdre kind of stands, takes a moment, turns. Well, now that that is dealt with, at least I can check up on you now. Can't have you running off and telling everyone else now, can I? But my business in Kirreen was my own. I went to visit Ranaagash's mother. Pleasant woman, really, with some interesting abilities of her own. But I have my own matter that I'd like you to deal with.
Which is?
And don't worry, it's not too difficult. It actually involves the young Ranaagash.
What is your bidding?
I have a gift for him. I want to make sure it ends up on his person.
What is it?
As, I guess, more Azimir comes over at this point and holds out perhaps maybe an inch crystal. It looks like an inert crystal, one of the ones that Eidolon is so determined to destroy or remove from the blighted creatures. It kind of just sits in the palm of Azimir's hand.
I take it, I guess.
It just needs to end up on his person.
I'll make sure that it does.
And if it doesn't?
I'm sure you've already got that in mind.
Just making certain you do too.
I'll make sure it gets on his person.
Run along.
Guess I turn and will try to find them. Hopefully they haven't heard anything that had just occurred.
Both of you give me a perception check, Marcusar and Wulfric. So as the two of you are walking through, Marcusar, you do rejoin them. Wulfric, you are, I guess, kind of walking through the woods. You're a little bit more aware, kind of trying to keep tabs, I guess, on where things are, where things should be. You kind of, I guess, lost a little bit of the footsteps of the party coming forward, but you are suddenly more aware of, I guess, Marcusar. It's a weird way to describe it, but almost coming back. Like, he's not following behind or following you guys. It's almost like you've kind of got to an intersection and he is behind you, but he's almost like, rather than walking behind you, he's come in and then stood behind you, if that makes sense. As if he's gotten lost and then refound himself.
Did you get lost, Marcusar?
I like the mind wanders.
Insight check. That's suspicious. The straight definitely wrong.
And do I roll a deception?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't really... I guess he's not really lying. He's also not really telling the truth, but he also just seems to be... I guess not all there is a way to describe it. But that could also be the fact that he's been brought back from the dead a second time and his connection to this plane is not really... It's not strong enough anymore, perhaps. It's just a side effect of that. But he just seems very...
Are you sure? Are you sure you're doing alright?
This forest is much different from Hilden.
Am I getting any closer glimpses of this beast?
Give me a survival check, and I'll give you it with advantage, because you're kind of all helping one another as you're moving through. 16. You are able to start picking up some traces of it, and quite quickly you realise that it's probably not a serpent. As when you get further into the woods and you start to find, I guess, stronger tracks of it, you find footprints. And not small footprints, not even large footprints. The only way to describe them would be huge footprints. So much so that if you yourself, Wulfric, were to lie down in them, the claws would just creep out over the top of your head, over the top of your axe hilt.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The feet of this thing is huge. Though the thing that I guess disturbs you about it to some degree is not a lot of the trees or the foliage around its markings have been disturbed, so it's not pushed its way through this forest. It's almost, again, perhaps why it's been described as a serpent, slithered its way through this forest.
Ah, it's like a Chinese dragon.
Technically, yeah, it's more like a Chinese lung.
Cool.
Rather than a traditional
Also,
four-legged dragon. As the three of you continue your journey into the woods to track this thing, to perhaps track it down and find Eidolon, for my boys, or at least two of them, this is the end for you tonight.
Ooh.
With your search underway and an interesting revelation had in the background. Eh, Marcusar?
Hey. Aren't you glad I'm back? Harmless old Marcusar. I'm a vegan, I wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah. As, at least for yourself, Matthew, and for yourself, Ewan, you guys are done D&D for tonight. Ready to come back next week.
Awesome.
So you guys can at least say goodbye to the folks at home as we cut to at least the break for me and Paul.
Bye, folks.
And
remember, crime is bad, kids.
Crime is bad, kids.
Don't do crime.
Craig said hi.
Don't do crime unless you get peer pressured into it.
No, don't. That's also bad. Don't do that either.
That's bad.
Crime's only illegal if you
That's
get
great.
caught.
That's great.
Yeah, just bye. As we come back from break, and we have a different group, we have a different layout, and we have Craig. Hi, Craig.
I'm gonna fucking kill Paul.
As from the layout, you guys will see that obviously Matthew and Ewan are gone. They say goodbye to you before the break. Paul is still here, but he's not Marcusar anymore. He is now playing Rodrik. Good old Rodrik Armstrong. I wonder what the implications are here.
You know
Good
how like
old doesn't describe it.
you know how like before the break we were wondering where Eidolon is. You know,
I wonder, where is he, Paul?
So it's almost like Paul's known where Eidolon is for the past week.
I'm gonna fucking kill him. He's fucking dead.
As yeah, for this, you guys will have me, you'll have Craig, and you'll have Paul, who is switched from Marcusar to playing Rodrik. Ewan did joke between the break it would be hilarious if Marcusar and Rodrik got in the same room. Clearly he didn't know what the intentions were for after the break.
Luckily, we won't have to worry about that problem after these few sessions.
hey.
It's gonna be moot in point.
Yeah, as we had quite an interesting session before the break. I'm obviously not going to spoil it for Craig. He can watch it like every other person. In his
Like
own
all
time.
of you at home.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd who watches things.
We're not going to spoil it. We're going to let Craig experience that in his glory. He can probably get more angry at Paul at the same time, but just to a different character.
I've had reasons to hate Marcusar, and now I'm getting all the reasons to hate Rodrik all at once. Only took 3 sessions. Congratulations, Paul.
I decided when starting this campaign is that I'm going to annoy Craig
And you're succeeding!
at every possible opportunity.
You're doing so well.
It's just the two of you, always in conflict, and now this is the ultimate conflict.
It's like I'm the Batman to your Superman.
What?
He's not.
No.
No. Move on. I don't get it.
He's a nerd, but he's not that kind of nerd, which is sometimes a shame and sometimes very inconvenient.
It's all for one for all. I don't know.
You're the bad guy, Paul.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all we need. I'm not the good guy, but you're definitely the bad guy.
As I guess we jump into this half of the session with these two boys, with these two characters, where Eidolon, you had a pretty alright night, at least from what you can remember. You went to bed, you manacled yourself, you were in a more secure room, so you kind of just more left the keys on the side. You never really need to take much precautions when you're in a more familiar setting.
They would be placed in a drawer rather than on top of any surface.
Yeah, like
Because it's rather difficult for a set of tendrils to
open a drawer.
open a drawer unless I'm the one controlling them to do so.
So you kind of take a little bit more liberties, at least when you're in an actual room rather than outside. And at least from what you recall going to sleep was a pretty good sleep. One of the better sleeps you've had in a long time.
Well, it's actually a sleep rather than a...
Yeah, like
Semi-comatose.
semi-comatose state. However, when you wake up, you are no longer in the bed, the plush bed that was in the spare room of Frida's house, nor are you even in that wooden panelled room. You are instead still manacled, though other than one wrist being manacled, both of them are manacled.
Wonderful.
Your hands are behind you, and the chain of the manacles themselves have been attached to another more, I guess, weighted chain that seems to be attached to a stone wall. As on two sides of you, you are surrounded by relatively old stonework, and at the front, you are surrounded by pretty hefty set of iron bars.
Are you able to ping me which cell I'm in?
I will. There you go, you're there.
Ooh, okay.
So you're down the back.
Is this a connection? Is this a connection from the bar into the wall?
Yes, that's a connection specifically bar to wall.
Okay.
As
Got a way out. Okay.
the cell bars from you are about 10 feet from you. The weight of the chain suggests it's quite a short chain, so you probably keep 5 feet, or at least giving you 5 feet of movement. Though the structure of the building itself leaves little to the imagination, as through the bars you can see quite a lot of ruins, quite a lot of rubble. Some part of the ceiling has kind of come through and come down into the basement. Similarly, a few of the cell blocks further down are also in a worse for wear state.
What a fucking Build-A-Bear prison.
If it wasn't for the greenery, I guess, starting to grow through some of the cracks, you could have easily mistaken it for being one of the ruins in Ilvania. But the wildlife suggests otherwise.
Home sweet shithole.
As you're kind of getting up, getting your bearings, kind of, I guess, moving around ever so slightly, you are still in your armor, you're still in your clothes, you sleep in such things.
Honestly, the first thing he'd do before even standing up is, without the arms first, it's just going to be a simple attempt just to break the manacles. Simple strength attempt.
Cool, give me a strength.
Because Eidolon knows that his manacles are enough to keep him in place. Eidolon also knows that they're not the newest manacles in the world.
Yeah, he's had them for quite some time now.
Assuming I can add athletics.
Give me just flat strength to start with.
That's not high modifier, but still close. 11.
Cool. You do enough to, I guess, rattle them. Not enough to break them. I guess it's enough to make a bit of noise. As
That's fine.
not too far not too far from the end of the cell block. Paul, you're down here in this kind of base room. You are sitting at a table, tankard, likely playing cards with Gregor. The two of you have been left on watch, and as the two of you are sitting, finishing a tankard, and you are slowly scraping some coin into a coin pouch as you've just won the round and won the hand, you can hear the, I guess, rattling of the chains from the end of the corridor.
Keep it down in there, will you?
Hearing that, recognizing the voice, heavy sigh, not abiding by what was asked. I'll take the manacles, since they're behind my back, press them up against the back. Eidolon's got a bit of finesse, raise up the foot since it's got a metal boot.
Oh shit, you're gonna do that thing.
Leverage them up against the boot and literally rip it across.
See if you can try and almost like break it.
I mean, I've rattled it enough to get some pins out of place. It should be that little bit easier to break now, if I can just get the leverage of my boot onto it.
This one I will give you with athletics. As Rodrik, you will be able to hear him moving around, standing up, and you are unable to break them, Craig.
Struggle all you want, you ain't going nowhere.
And where exactly being?
I'd be a bad guardsman if I told you where you were.
I mean, you've been bad at everything I've known you for so far, so I wouldn't exactly expect you to be decent at this either.
Not loud enough for him to be just like, I fucking hate this guy.
Is it loud enough for me to hear him? Or should I make you a perception check?
Give me a stealth, Paul, and give me a perception check, Craig.
Oh, that's not too high. You might be able to hide your voice, Paul.
Let's go.
Yeah, he can hide it.
Yeah,
That's fine.
you can hide it. As the rattling, I guess you trying to obviously break them, are a little bit too loud, so obviously hear Rodrik's undertones. As, at least for yourself, Rodrik Gregor kind of smirks, gets up from the table. Well, Brakatar did want to speak to him when he gets up, so I'm going to do that and leave you with a short straw to go and make sure he doesn't get out.
Fair enough. I don't think he'll be getting out anytime soon.
No, but if he does, I'd rather it be your fault than my fault. Considering you just took 15 gold from me, it can be 15 gold that you then lose later on.
If you didn't want to play cards, you didn't have to. You know I'm better than you.
Yeah, but I thought cheating once would make me win.
I know you fucking cheated, you little shit.
Yeah, well, I'm going upstairs. He's your problem now. As he like,
ladies, you're both beautiful. Shut up.
As he like goes up the stairs and kind of like leans down from the like slats from the second floor and just kind of flips you off.
Also, you said the pins are slightly out of place now. Pins are what keep manacles sort of strong. Would I be able to just slip my wrists out of these at this point?
You could attempt to slip the pins, which would be a sleight of hand. The way that the old manacles work is you can't really slip your wrists out of them, but if you have loose pins, you can try and slip the pins.
We'll give that a shot. Why not? I'm trying a bit of everything at this point. It doesn't seem they're in a rush to kill me or anything. So it's literally just the point of like...
I would have, as Gregor was leaving, probably walked along to the cells.
You can see him doing this.
Yeah, I was gonna walk along like all the cells. I've got my axe. I'm kind of like rattling the handle of the axe. No, not the axe. The warhammer. Sorry. I'm like knocking the warhammer off the bars. You know, so it goes. Tick, 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 tick. You know?
As you as you watch, he's kind of like fiddling with them. He's kind of standing quite close to the wall as he's kind of moving stuff around, and you just hear the clink, ding, 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 as one of the pins just rolls into the corridor.
By the time you get to the cell, you can sort of just see manacles on the ground. Him just sort of just taking one hand to his wrist, or just making sure it's not too damaged.
I mean, you still have the manacle on one side. You've got it off of one side, but you've got free hands.
Aye, but he'll be doing that with that.
Yeah.
Wait, I've got free hands?
You've got free hands like this, but manacles around one wrist. When you actually bring your hands forward to obviously massage your wrist, you notice that your kind of makeshift bracelet from the Northwell heart, from the dragon's heart, is gone. Your wedding ring's also gone.
I'm not attached to the wall anymore, am I?
No.
Got them off. Nice. It was more just flex, realize those two things. You sort of see his expression change from just mild irritation to just a sort of growing sense of anger.
Although where's that bloody Bracketar? Oh, jeez.
You know, I'm glad my immediate dislike from you has been validated.
It was nothing personal.
Yeah, but money's pretty personal for you.
It's just business.
Yeah. Putting me in a prison cell, stealing my wedding ring. Incredibly impersonal. I completely understand.
Standard procedure.
Standard procedure, alright. So listen, I'm gonna get out of this cell, and when I do, you're gonna hand me back... Listen, I could barely care about most of my shit, but you're gonna hand me back my ring. I'm gonna leave. I have nothing to negotiate when I'm in this situation, so I'm just gonna say how it is.
Fortunate for you, I'm not in charge here. You've got to wait for the other guy.
The other guy?
I'm the other guy.
So what, even in your band, you ain't worth a piece of shit, are you?
I know my place. Unlike you, it seems.
Yeah, beneath everyone around you. Now fuck off so I can speak to someone important.
I'll take the polite step back to let Bracketar step forward.
As the kind of orc is quite tall, he is quite slender, but very broad-shouldered, not very heavily armoured, quite light armoured, though you're kind of getting used to that. Obviously seeing Ranaagash and even some of the orcish hunters from the campfire in Kinreen, a lot of orcs don't really wear heavy armour. Even Sorrow in the Citadel, he was quite light armoured, though he wielded heavy weapons. This orc, there's no heavy weapons, it is knives, daggers, even darts. Where amongst his collection, you can see the hilt of your dagger.
Don't need that as much, but he collects them, alright.
A fine addition to my collection.
Should I hop on the roof and jump down so I can just greet him with a good old hello there?
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Would it work? No, you're 3 syllables.
No, it wouldn't.
No, because you're
I'm
captain, which
not
would
general.
work. So captain could work, but
Captain
Eidolon I don't think
Paul's
would
got it.
work. I
Well,
suppose.
Daedalus definitely wouldn't.
It'll be one Kenobi, yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Daedalus.
That kind of works.
He's got a little bit of it. A little bit of it.
As with your past perception, one of the other things that you'll be able to notice about this is underneath his leathers, particularly around his kind of left-hand side rib cage and his left-hand side arm kind of taking shoulder, he's quite heavily bandaged.
Interesting. Do they look like new bandages, or is that just part of his fashion?
They look like new bandages.
Ho 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 ho. Does he say anything?
If I knew you were going to get out of them that easy, I wouldn't have put you in them.
What can I say? At least, unlike some people, I know what I'm doing.
Certainly.
Listen, I can tell you already haven't had a very fun time with me. Who's paying you? I'm back here, it doesn't exactly benefit you anything to keep stuff from me.
At the moment, we're still waiting on correspondence from someone who will pay for you.
So what, you just kidnapped someone off the street? Well, not exactly from the street at this point, is it? For no exact buyer? Just think it looks valuable?
No, if I was wanting someone who looked valuable and he kind of side-eyes Rodrik, I'd probably take that half-orc that can see the future.
An interesting choice, certainly. So why?
Rumour from Aramba. Looking for someone of your description.
For...
Apparently you ran off, and they want you back.
And what? They're willing to pay folk like you?
They're willing to pay, we're just getting a little bit more out of it.
You know when they get here, they're going to kill you.
Then we kill you.
Have fun trying. As Eidolon would more just like take a just step back against the wall, put his foot against it, cross his arms.
He kind of, I guess, takes a step forward, but is very careful.
Second he takes a step, I'm gonna snap my fingers. Can both of them make me a dex save?
Watch.
I'm more making a point.
Cool. And I will roll again
So-
for Bracketar. That's actually better.
Without advantage.
Without advantage. Bracketar got a 23.
Cool.
Paul got a 6.
It's fine by me. So, essentially, as he takes a step forward, it's going to be the snap fingers right in front of him. There's essentially going to be a tendril that's hovering in place, directly in place, like in front of his neck, as he steps forward.
That immediately is like Yondu with his fucking arrow. He's just like floating in front of people's heads.
Whilst for Paul instead, it's more there's a tendril right across its inside his stomach. So that is 10 force damage.
Take 10 damage.
Swell. Swell. Love to see it. Okay. Nice trick.
So yeah, I'd recommend knowing what you're dealing with first. As I'd more let the tendril start just like moving around his neck. More just coiling like a snake slowly around it.
Trust me, you are no threat. Whatever's inside of you is the threat.
Oh, what you'd be quick to learn is it's both. I'd recommend keeping this easy, handing over my ring, and not having your entire operation be slaughtered by a bunch of angry military folk. Or if you'd like to try and make this easy now, step in the cell, big boy.
Let's dance.
Let's see if you're lucky twice. As I'd sort of just let one of the tendrils almost like graze against the neck, leaving a slight scratch.
This is still on me.
You're
No, this is on your friend at this
inside
point.
him.
Your one's is just kind of like inside you a little bit.
Sorry, this is on Bracketar. Why are you toying with your food?
In an ideal world, I don't want to hurt the merchandise. I already had to overdose him last night. I don't want to be doing that again.
Does he appear to have a key on him?
Nope.
Interesting. Is there actually a lock on the door?
Yeah.
I'll wait for him to say something though. I've already made my point.
What, and if I did fight you, would it be a fair fight?
Depends on what you types consider fair. I could beat you with my fists, or if you pass me my sword back.
Didn't pick up your blade.
Eidolon more just gestures, the tendrils just sort of like appearing behind him at this point, almost gesturing in the other directions. I don't see one.
Kinda looks at Rodrik.
There's no point in indulging him.
Yes, but it could also make our lives easier if we do. You say he can hold his own in a fight, Rodrik?
Not an understatement.
I'd give you a nod for that, Rodrik.
Oh, Rodrik. Oh,
Thank you. Flattered.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Stop
Oh.
it.
Oh. You're too
What are we?
kind.
What are we?
I don't know. What is this? What am I feeling?
You're connecting! Oh my god!
Just two,
There's a... Oh my god!
just two bros, you know?
Chilling in a hot tub, chilling in a cell block.
5 feet apart. 'cause
10
it's not-
feet
10
apart
feet
'cause they're
apart,
not-
they're not dead.
Okay. Yeah, he is more than capable. I say it's safer if he stays behind bars.
What, you scared of him, Armstrong?
Of course not.
But you're advising me not to fight him.
As a man once said to me, a fight with a beast is inevitable, but a fight with a man can be avoided. Or
I'd like to make an
something
attack against Rodrik for quoting Wulfric.
Oh, what about those?
I'm going to take that step forward so I'm at the doors of the cell block and just lash the tendril that I have currently on him. Because I'm not having Wulfric besmirched like that.
Yes.
And my unarmed attacks have reach, thanks to my arms.
I can now only smell orange juice.
Actually, it's +7, not +6. Paul, did 16 hit you?
Oh, it does actually.
You take 5 force damage.
Ouch.
As Eidolon doesn't say anything, but more just stares daggers in your direction.
Leave them here.
And so what,
Wait.
when your payment gets here, you're just going to take me out the cell and it's going to be as easy as that?
I mean,
Catching me off guard once is unlikely. A second time, not going to happen.
fool me once, shame on me.
Twice.
Shame on you.
Same on me, but just again.
Okay. We have you in the cell. It is of no advantage to us to let you out or for us to enter. So, I say we just leave you here. Do you agree, Brakatar? I know you want to fight. But you don't need to prove yourself to this man.
No, I know. But it might be easier if he's pacified for longer.
You don't got any more of those darts?
A few.
He's awake now, he'll probably catch it.
He's very well welcome to try.
I turn to Brakatar. Do darts count as projectiles?
As Eidolon would more just shout over. They're a simple ranged weapon. They do 1d4 damage. Using my reaction, I would be able to catch it without rolling.
He kind of
It's
like
true.
he kind of like shrugs and looks at you. That's what a projectile is, Armstrong. It's something you throw.
Sorry, it's the 8 wisdom. It's the 8 intelligence too.
Got me whilst I was unconscious. I'd say more just piking up.
We're smart. We know not to take you on head on.
Since when were you smart?
It was a collective we. I'm not, but we are.
Listen, the fact you think you're all going to be alive by the end of this little expedition of yours already shows that that's a lie.
This dick measuring contest has gone on too long.
I mean, you've not exactly measured anything yourself so far.
I'm a grower, not shower.
I hope he actually said that. Rodrik just doesn't care about anything that's going on right now. He just needs time to make quips.
So what if we make a little cash from you going home? What's it to you?
Is that directed at me?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, can you rephrase the question slightly? I don't actually understand what he's saying there.
Can you use the word in a sentence, please?
Hippopotamus. Essentially what he's asking is, you're from Aramba, what is the difference if they make a little coin for you going home?
We're trying to send you home. We're trying to do the good thing here.
They're the good guys, okay? They have hearts of gold!
We're trying to get him home. It's like Homeward Bound, except with monks.
Alright. Listen, if all those daggers going stuck in your ears, anyone who's willing to pay you will kill you.
Perhaps, but I'm also willing to
Die?
test my own men.
Well, you know, testing them in the sense of, can your morgue handle that many bodies is certainly an interesting way to do it.
Someone's overconfident.
Overconfident isn't the word you use for being capable in your own men.
He kind of looks at Rodrik, takes a couple of steps, I guess more towards him, away from you. Well, if he's that important, he's sending such threatening men. Perhaps we can even get some more coin out of him.
More so than we originally thought.
If they're going to be sending the best to come and get you, clearly you're worth the best.
See, key misconception there. Our worst are 10 times better than anything you've got to consider your best. They could send the fucking janitor, and not only would he wipe the floor with this place, he'd also kill the lot of you.
I'm gonna take Brakatar inside and be like, yo, that insult was pretty fire.
He's welcome to incite anything I say. I'm not lying.
I'm gonna incite that. I'm gonna incite that. You are lying.
Incite me in real life, Paul. What's my deception mod?
I hate how much Eidolon and Craig are full of themselves.
I have no reason not to be full of myself. I know what I wrote. Emma proved everything I wrote.
Yeah.
How many of us do you think it would take to be a fair fight?
Against one?
Against you.
Me? How many you got?
How many do I got?
At the ruin at the moment, there is, including you and Brakatar, but obviously Gregor as well, there's about 10 of you, 12 of you.
Now, part of me wants to say, let's invite them all down and let's have a big old brawl. But I also think it'll just turn into that scene from Old Boy.
Also, I have to be honest, I would just disengage and run away.
Oh, you
I have
bitch.
faster movement speed than all of you.
Why I'm not letting you out your cage.
I have faster movement speed than all of you, which means none of you could actually catch up to me. Means I could just run.
Run. Let's just leave him.
Eidolon at this point is like
Let's not indulge him any further. Let's just leave him here.
Just so you know what.
Maybe put Gregor on watch because I had enough of him.
Just so you know what it's looking like right now, I've literally got my arms leaning against the bar. Like I'm literally leaning up against it, just kind of like looking at. No, it's like the arms are placed on the bars of the cell.
Oh yeah, like the.
There's like head turned to the side, just watching you two.
Yeah. Let's leave him. The cell door will hold for now.
At least until I can get another dose.
Exactly.
Is Bragatar
Well,
kind
go
of...
on. You've got shit to shovel.
But one of us should stay down here. I recommend Gregor. He's got the best sight. He can see if he's up to anything.
Gregor can come down, and I'll probably get Ingrid to come down later.
She can throw back some savage insults as well.
Well, clearly you two have been useless at it, so maybe it might be enjoyable.
God, why is he so good at this?
It's something I don't get to play as Eidolon that often because, like, he's not in situations where he'd be openly hostile towards people.
Yeah.
This is as openly hostile as you free hostility here.
Yeah, so it's like I can play Eidolon's hostility how he's actually hostile when he's not just mad.
Oh god, we were encountering Eidolon at 3% of his strength.
Yoink, zoink, scoop!
Here, he's just full...
I want to take Brakatar away and have a quiet word with him out of earshot of Eidolon.
I would like to try listen, but of course if I'm not able to hear it, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind.
So you want to go against passive or active, Craig?
I mean, I'll be making an active attempt to listen.
So give me an active perception check. Paul, give me a stealth.
I'm not good at these.
Well, it's you trying to whisper.
Fuck's sake.
So it's a non-nat 20 with a plus 10.
You can hear what he's saying. As they're kind of down the end of the corridor, around the corner.
What is our actual plan here?
You hear Eidolon start laughing the second you whisper that!
I usher Brakatar up the stairs and out of the cells.
Well, I'll say what I'm doing after he's done, so whatever I'll be doing is whilst he's having this conversation.
Rodrik,
So Paul, you go first.
we've been over this.
Yes.
We've sent letters, we've sent correspondence. We've also following up that lead up north, see if there's anyone there who wants him.
We can't hold him here forever. You saw how quickly he got out of those manacles.
Aye, but...
And we can't deal with him. We were lucky once.
Oh, thank you, Paul. I really appreciate that.
We have two options. We sit, we deal with it, or we let him go.
The coin.
God.
I want my summer house at the beach.
There's a scene from The Road of El Dorado for when Tulio's just like, but all that gold!
Literally.
It's on one side, gold, mountains of it. On the other side, painful
Agonizing failure. We've been watching Road to El Dorado a lot recently.
It's good background music.
Fair enough.
Um,
I haven't watched it in forever. I'll watch it again.
it's
on Netflix right now.
Let's go.
Also, Paul, sorry for diverging, but Inside is so good.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good.
Back to the D&D.
It's absurd how good it was, though.
Yeah.
Where were we?
I don't remember. You were upstairs. I'm about to do something, but you guys first.
You're weighing the options of letting Eidolon go versus the amount of money you could possibly gain at the end of it.
Yes. We don't know who's going to pay us, but we assume it's going to be a big sum of money. But if we let him out now and try to take him, subdue him, he will cut through us like butter. We just need to keep him there, but he will get out eventually.
Sooner rather than later, I assume.
He is a man of sheer fucking will. You're in charge. I'll do as you say, but just to let you know, he will make mincemeat of us. I mean, I could take him, but I feel like it's unfair fight. He doesn't have his weapons.
Rodrik, if you could take him, you would have let me fight him.
You're in no state to fight. Look at your injuries.
I did that unconscious.
Yeah, he did that unconscious. Imagine what he could do at full alertness. He would fuck you up. You may be brisk, Blade, but you're not that brisk.
Then I'll send Gregor down. We'll at least get some food into him, and in the meantime, I'll dish out a few of my flax to the boys.
I don't think Gregor can take him either, but he's got the best eyesight.
Aye, but if I can get my poison around, last resort, we can overdose him again.
That thing could take down a fucking Tarask.
Rodrik,
And it only just put him to sleep.
Rodrik, Trasks don't exist.
But I've seen the books.
Okay, then we'll just make enough to knock out 3 Tarasks then.
So, Tarask was in the book, and there was that train that was talking, and it was very weird.
Listen, The Little Tarask That Could is a history book, okay?
History book.
Then I will make enough that it will knock out 3 Tarasks. It only took 3-4 darts to knock him out once the first one set in. So if I can get enough to make it more potent, then we have enough to keep him asleep for a while. I just need a little bit more time.
Okay. I'll have my hammer at the ready.
I'll go and get Gregor. Keep an eye on the stairs.
Stand guard. Hammer in hand.
Is what is Eidolon doing?
Oh,
He's just this whole time has just like tunneled his way out. He is like miles away.
little structural integrity thing, because it's connected from the bar to the wall since I'm in the far back cell. This bit's going to be pretty weak. So essentially what I'm going to do is just taking the tendrils, wrapping them in. I'm just going to put my hand up against that part of the wall and essentially just let the tendrils push out with force. So it would be the equivalent of essentially me shoulder barging the part of the wall. I'm just letting the tendrils do it for me because I know they're that bit stronger than me.
Give me strength.
Athletics? Is that pushing?
Yeah, but you also have your wisdom because you're using your tendrils.
My strength is my wisdom mod.
This is when it's
That is a net 20. So a 27, in fact.
You do enough to almost, I guess, break the cement, crumble it. Enough that the bars are now in the arms of your tendrils and can be bent.
So essentially I've just broken through the cement, got in my tendrils. So if they can be bent with a nat 20, may I just rip them to the side
Yeah,
so I can just walk out?
Open them as if they were a door.
Aesthetically, very casually, Eidolon just looks at them, go up the stairs, walks to the left, puts his hand up against the wall, breaks through the cement, lets the tendrils rip across and just moves his hand across and lets the bars open in front of him.
Would I have heard a, cement shattering?
Give me a perception check.
This better fucking work.
Come on, Rodrik, you've made so many of these.
Unnatural 20.
Yes!
Yeah. You just hear not so much an explosion, it's just more of a crumbling noise, and then you hear the bending of metal.
Actually, with the cement crumbled, looking up when I take a step out, would I be able to collapse in the roof with my tendrils too, since there's no longer the structural support there going up to there?
You don't know if it would collapse on top of you because you've destroyed quite a
I'd be
lot of the support.
fine with that. Because I'm deft enough I could move out of the way.
I would like to preface that when I heard the concrete shatter and the metal bars like twist in pain, I would like to rage.
Is Rodrik charging down the stairs?
Or is he just scared at the top of them?
He's going to rage and yell out to anyone who could hear him, "With me!" and then just go charging down the stairs.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is take the step forward. I'm going to bonus action with my key point dodge action. So that if anything comes down, I'll be able to dodge out of the way. And with my tendrils active, I'm just going to put my hand up and attempt to, since there's no support on it anymore, attempt to collapse in the ceiling. Would I even have to make a check for that, or is it already weak enough?
I need a strength from you.
Nat 20.
Are you fucking?
I need to screenshot this! I need to screenshot this!
Literally a 1 in 400 chance.
Well, that's another nat 20 for collapsing in the ceiling with my tendrils.
Give me deck save.
With advantage. Yes, I've got my
I swear to fucking God.
Which one, Paul?
If it's a fucking nat 20, I'm leaving this
It
game.
won't be, Paul. That's a non-nat 20.
That's still too close.
I'm assuming I'm good.
You are good.
Tell me what happens, then I'll say what Rodrik sees.
As roll me a d100 to see how the collapse is.
92.
Cool.
That's pretty high.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, look how stupidly high I'm rolling at this point.
When I roll a D100, I get a 4.
Yeah, you do. As Craig, or Eidolon, you kind of come out, you attack the corner of the wall that is already slightly weakened anyway from the rubble. You kind of batter it in, break some of the rocks, letting the supports kind of collapse, and the land at the top, clearly the tower itself, this extension probably goes on a little bit beyond.
I imagined.
And you have perhaps a 5-ish foot clearance.
Into what?
Forest. You can see sky. You can see the edge of the building, but that's still slowly crumbling as you have a little bit of clearance into nothing.
What you see as you come down,
Running down the fucking stairs, 40 foot speed.
Lift up his left hand, you see the tendrils erupt out of it as essentially carves into the roof of your tower as you start feeling the building shake. As he just turns around to look at you, just kind of gives you like a slight, like, half-hearted salute. As, do I still have some time, Em?
Let him have it.
You would have one action before Rodrik got to you.
Can I use a bonus action instead of an action,
Yes.
please? Step of the Wind, which triples my jump distance. Sorry, doubles my jump distance and doubles my speed. As you just see him give the slight salute, reach up with the tendrils, have it latch onto parts of the essential ground above, as he just yoinks himself up. M kidnaps me, and I'm just like,
Nope.
no. No, thank you.
Can I turn heel and like, fuck, and then run back up the stairs?
With my slight additional time, I'll take the dash action, so I'm moving 180 feet.
What about your
Sayonara.
wedding ring and your bracelet?
You see, I'm not running away, Em.
Oh.
Oh shit, he's running toward.
They thought I was leaving them. No, I'm just making my own way in.
As Rodrik heading back towards the stairs, and I guess raging and slightly.
Rage runs out if you don't hit or anything or get hit. So he's just wasted a rage.
I mean, how long do I need to like? How long from the rage to hitting something? What's the window?
It's a turn.
A turn.
So if you don't hit something or get hit by the start of your next
Punch
turn,
myself. Keep the rage going. Kylo Ren in Force Awakens, where he's like hitting his fucking side. slap myself in the face.
1 plus strength damage.
Okay,
Well,
that's,
one
oh,
plus-
that's six,
one-
that's
1 plus strength plus rage damage.
oh shit,
Oh yeah, because he gets the rage damage too.
that's fucking 8 damage.
How much health is Rodrik on? Because he took my 10 damage, then 5 damage, and now 8 damage.
That's not. You don't get to know that.
We're enemies.
I keep
How
the
are you
rage.
feeling getting the runaround by a prisoner, Paul?
Oh fuck! If this is your whole fucking move for this fight, you're a bitch. But also well played.
I never had any intention of fighting you guys. I just had to make sure you guys left so I could break my own way out.
I've ran up the stairs.
So from my perspective down the corridor before I help myself out,
Yes.
down this way, did I see any, like, place that they might keep prisoner belongings?
Nope.
Alright, cool. So it's likely somewhere in here. Easy peasy. That's enough ground to cover.
As for
I
yourself,
am going to be running slightly out. Sorry.
Yeah.
I am going to be running slightly out just so that they think I'm going further than I am. But it's more going to be run further out and then more kite around using the tree lines as cover. If you need like a active stealth,
Not at the
something
moment.
like that.
As for yourself, Rodrik, you'll be coming to the top of the stairs where several more of the unfortunate sons, Ingrid and Gregor being among them, Braktar's not among them, at least not at the moment, are kind of gathered at the top, weapons drawn. What the fuck is going on?
Fucker escaped from his cell. He's yeeted out through the roof. Actually, I wouldn't say yeeted.
Yeah, you could do. It's like an unfortunate sons like term. Like they made it up.
Yes, we invented yeet in your universe. I want that written down.
Really?
Rodrik ran down the stairs, saw the cell, and said, "This bitch empty. Yeets."
Well, where the
Is the
fuck
place
did he
still
go?
Is the place still like kind of collapsing? Just that little bit? You said it was shaking a wee bit.
Yeah, but it still has some structural integrity. You took out one low-bearing wall.
We could make this place crumble and get my stuff from the ashes. Continue.
No, it's stronger than that, Craig. You could make perhaps a corner of it fall.
Might be enough. Anyway, sorry, I'll shut up.
Fucker got out of his cell. I would know where the roof fell in, right?
Yeah.
I can assume where he would have gotten out.
Yes.
Okay, run to there.
You can find his tracks. Several of the group obviously follow you. You can find his tracks heading into Mire, heading into the woods.
Can I see him at all?
Give me perception. Eidolon, give me stealth.
May I have a cheeky wee advantage or nah, because I'm in the tree line?
Nah.
A 13.
I think I'm decent at stealth. Just a little bit. 25.
Fucking Christ.
You can't see him.
Fuck! Can I look for some,
I want to say this. Oh shit! I was going to say something before Paul said he looks for tracks. But no, it's fine. Paul said it now.
I look for tracks.
Give me survival.
Should I say what I was going to say? Since I'm kiting my way around, I would like to essentially, at some point as the tracks get out, essentially take a small amount of time, make some coverage, and lightfoot off another direction. Considering it's dense forest, might be able to. Plain it sketchy.
Give me survival.
Me?
Yep.
Nat 20.
Fuck you. Fuck you so much.
Anything and everything, all of the time.
Bro, you got how many nat 20s in... So that's 1, 2... You got 3 nat 20s and a 19 in 4 rolls.
As Rodrik, you are able to follow Eidolon's tracks into the woods.
No. Let me do the math right now. That is
Tragedy and boredom is a crime.
20 times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20 is a 1 in 160,000 chance.
Stay mad?
Nah, how do you fudge your dice in a fucking Roll20 game? How the fuck do you... This is
Try find me now.
fucking bullshit. You literally rolled with chances of 1 in 160,000 There are lotteries with better odds than that.
Matthew, if you're watching the second half of this episode, do the math and put it in the comments for me just to make sure Paul's right.
Well, it's 20 times 20. Like, you know, to roll any number on a dice is 20 times 20 times 20 times 20.
I mean,
20.
Yeah.
So,
Paul, more my argument is at this point is why should I stop rolling nat 20s?
if life isn't a game, why do I keep winning? As Ewan would say.
I'm only on 3. I could go for 5.
so I don't. Do I find any tracks of any kind?
You find tracks of his. You get quite far into the forest, maybe 30, 40 feet, kind of behind the tree line into the foliage, into the underbrush, and they disappear.
I keep charging in that direction. Just in a straight fucking line.
As you're out looking,
I have 4 names, and that's 1 gone.
several of the other unfortunate sons stay in the foliage, stay in the brush, I guess, to try and find him. They continue to try and, I guess, trace his tracks as you're running blindly into the woods. Eidolon, what do you do?
How many of them are out here? I have heard 4 names so far. I know Rodrik, I know Braktar, I know Ingrid, and I know Gregor. They were very liberal mentioning the names of the people in their group. So I'm looking for the number of people who are out looking, and if they match the description of the orc I saw, a female and a male.
There's 2 females, 3 males, there's 5 in total that are out looking for you, not including
more than I
Rodrik, so
thought.
6.
Do I see the orc?
No.
Cool, I can assume that he's more in charge, so if he's inside, I can get in. If I need to kill him, that's not a problem. Alright, so since it looks like the mass amount of them are outside, I will kite my way around since I got out that way. Kite my way around and look for another entrance. Probably going to the left rather than the right, because I know to the right is that central staircasey bit, so if I head to the left, I'm sort of avoiding what seems to be the main compound. So I'm heading around this way.
Yeah, so you're kind of heading around, heading back. Can you give me a perception check?
I can certainly try. 24.
Cool. As you're kind of looping around, you see a kind of...
That wasn't that 20.
No, I'll save that for like the attack roll on your friend, so I'll auto kill him.
You kind of see a lower part that the roof is kind of caved and collapsed and gives you an entrance in. A little bit more secluded, I guess, but that's not what takes your attention, as you can kind of see around the corner, so coming towards the southern side of the building where you presume the main entrance to be, there are 2 bodies lying outside of it.
Unfortunate sons?
Presumably so, they look like marks.
I want to describe it because I never got the chance to.
Go,
earlier.
please,
We're all
Paul,
about to die now anyway, so it's never going to get described. Our insignia,
Anything and everything, all of the time.
our insignias are 2 coins, one bearing the symbol of a crown and the other bearing the symbol of a skull. Anyway, go wipe us out already.
Well, this wasn't me. More keeping note of that, I don't have a weapon. Eidolon goes for his sword, realizing it's not there, just curses under his breath for a second, and just readies his fists. It's been too long since he's been just in a good old-fashioned fist fight. I mean, he's not lost one since he was, 8 years old, so...
Yeah. As do you go in the side, or do you go to investigate the front?
I'll let the sleeping bodies lie, dying bodies lie. As if anything's moving and wiping this place out, I'll be best avoiding that and just let it kill people whilst I get my shit and leave.
Nice.
So I'm gonna make my way in through the sort of crumbled entrance. If you'd like, I can do another stealth roll.
Give me a stealth roll.
Oh, no, that's just me saying, oh my fucking god. That's a 23.
As
God, I'm sorry, Paul. This is almost unfair for you at this point.
As Rodrik.
Paul came to be the big man. You know, he's the guy who kidnapped. He's got the band right now, and it's just...
As Rodrik, can you give me an intelligence roll?
Intelligence roll.
Come on, Paul. This is where you need your nat 20.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
As for the 2 of you, I feel Marcus had a much happier end to his session, even though that end wasn't too happy. Rodrik, you grind your heels to a halt. You are now nearly probably 100 foot away from camp.
Yeah.
When you realise Eidolon probably didn't go this way, and there's a good chance he probably kited you, as he is a soldier and knows these kind of tactics, so he's probably given you the runaround and is already back at the ruins.
Fuck. and I just turn heel and sprint back towards the way I
Have you continued punching yourself to keep up your rage?
Fuck, I'll slap. No, because that's another 8 damage I have to deal to myself. Oh, fuck it, another 8 damage, why not?
As you're running back, as you've realised your mistake, you're gathering your companions, gathering your group, calling them back to get to the ruins as quickly as possible. As Eidolon, you start to sneak your way into the ruins, where you can hear combat, but it never seems to last very long, as it's more startled voices that are suddenly silenced. Where, for the two of you, we are ending it for tonight.
What? No! Fuck off, I need to murder this guy!
Well, you can't!
Oh, honey, thinking you'll be doing it to me.
As for Rodrik, and for, well, Rodrik running back, feeling like an idiot, and for
31
Eidolon,
damage taken already, Paul.
Eidolon sneaking in, and another mysterious entity now entering into the ruins of the unfortunate sons. Paul finally gets to say goodbye, and for the first time tonight, Craig gets to say goodbye. As I think Paul hates me, and hates Craig, and hates Roll20.
No, I hate Roll20. This motherfucker gave Craig 3 natural 20s in 4 rolls. He hasn't rolled below 20 anything in like 7 turns.
At the very beginning of this, I rolled pretty poorly. I rolled a 10, a 5, and a 5, and since then it was 15. I rolled a 9, and then I rolled a 10, and then it was 20, 20, 19, 20, 14 plus 10, 17 plus 6.
The gods look favourably on you now, but that good luck is going to run out.
I mean, it's more looking like you're the unfortunate sons more than ever before.
Oh shit, maybe I've been planning it the whole time.
He was ready to die.
As
I'll just be the one to fucking do it.
for now, we have already said goodbye to Matthew and goodbye to Ewan, but it is finally goodbye from me, and it is goodbye from Craig and Paul. I feel really bad for the Roll20.
I don't!
I'm in danger.